Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We're a little early. Thanks for signing on so early. This is a fun lecture. Air plants are so interesting and so fun. And I've got great photos. And I'm getting wonderful questions and chats already. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you so much. And what I've got is look at these wonderful these air plants that are showing off. They're going into bloom. So I'm going to be talking all about these fun things, and you'll learn more by the end of the program. There's another fun one while we're getting, everyone's getting signed on here. There's another fun one. I love these. This one is and this is an ionantha. It's Tillandsia ionantha, and this is rubra. And see why they call it rubra? The needles just in the spine start turning pink just before it goes into bloom. So much fun, so much fun. So we've got 16 people, and I'm getting all kinds of wonderful comments. And it's so good to see everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'm watching my time. We're about 3 minutes away. And I'm Jennifer Brennan. I'm the horticulture information specialist here at Chalet. I was just talking to somebody. I actually started at Chalet 30 years ago, as a part-time seasonal employee in April. But then 4 years later, I became the manager of the Learning Center and became full-time. And that happened in February. And 30 years ago, I joke that I started when I was 8. So, okay, we've got 19 people. And I'll get ready to get started really soon. I'm just looking at the different chats. What I'm going to do is go through the presentation. You got an extensive handout that was it was attached to the email that you got for the sign-in link for the Zoom program. And so you can print this up and follow along. Essentially, this is all of the text that you're going to be seeing on the PowerPoint. So you can just relax, not have to take a whole bunch of notes, print one of these up and then just asterisk the parts that you like the best. It's when we can give you all the information and you print it up on your own, you can decide whether you want to use paper or put it in your computer and follow along that way. So I think let's go ahead and get started. We've got about 36 people already, and I'm going to stay right on time. What I'm going to do, I've got the chat box and the Q&A open, so, but what I'm going to do is hold up on answering the questions until the very end. So we've got a lot to cover. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to Chalet's Virtual Learning Center. And I'm Jennifer Brennan, the Horticulture Information Specialist, and probably the biggest plant geek that's around here at Chalet. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to share the screen with the PowerPoint. So here we go. All right. And I just have to get the slideshow going. And oops, hold on just a minute. There we go. All right. And let me get this out of the way. I'm getting the Q&A out of the way. And we're good, we're good, we're good. She says, there it is. All right. And I'll move this out of the way, good too. Excellent. Now we're ready to go. Welcome, everybody. Welcome aboard. I was just going to see how many people we still have. Oh, we're good. We're good. All right. So the title of this is Air Plants, or Tillandsias. What are they and how do we use them? I love this arrangement. This was done by one of our designers about 4 years ago. And this is the classic way that you see air plants displayed. They're usually mounted on driftwood, and they're matched with other plants that that don't need a lot of water. So many succulents, you'll see a lot of succulents that are matched up with air plants. And after you hear how they live and why they live the way they do, you'll understand why. Okay, so Tillandsias, is the group name of all these plants, and also air plants. They also call them sky plants, which is interesting because they tend to grow up in the upper canopies of the trees, so they're up in the skies. So you can see all these different colors and textures of the plants. This is one of the trays of all the air plants that came in just this week to Chalet. So we have tons of beautiful air plants. Okay, so now the secret ingredients, and I just realized I'm going to move my Q&A column again. Hold on. The secret ingredients of air plants, there are the gray Tillandsias, and they differ from their green cousins. And what makes them so wonderful is, and so interesting, is they bear absorbent scales on their leaves. They're attached to their leaves. I can hold this up and you can see the texture. They're called trichomes, and what these trichomes do is they absorb humidity from the air. So they take the place of a rooting system. They also absorb nutrients from dust particles that are in the air, that are attached to the humidity. They literally live on air. They literally live on air. They're in the Bromeliad family, and you're probably familiar. I took all the pictures of the Bromeliads out because I had so much of the Tillandsias that I didn't want to take up space. So the Bromeliads are their big brothers. They're big brothers. Okay, here we go. Come on, machine, let's go. I have to do this. Now, this is my microscope. I love my microscope. And I have a camera mounted to one of the oculars, one of the eyepieces. And it takes the image that is being seen through the microscope up to that screen. And you can see the cute little Tillandsia, or the air plant, that's an ionantha, that's on the plate of the microscope. And then look at the screen and you can see all the close-up. This is at 20 times magnification. You can see the close-up of the trichomes. Those are those strands that are on the surface of the leaves that absorb the humidity and also absorb the nutrients from the air. And there's even a better close-up, so you can see larger, all those textures and all that surface area that can absorb the nutrient and the humidity, and that's what turns into the water. These plants usually live in tropical rainforests, and so they're exposed to lots of rain, but it drains off quickly. The classification of these plants, again, the Bromeliads. There's many cultivars and hybrids, and their native habitat is again in tropical rainforests. They have a very minimal root system. And all the root systems are usually used for is to anchor the plant in the position on a branch. And then there are the xeric Tillandsias, and those are the xerophytes. They like drier conditions. Those are usually the ones that have more of the trichomes on them. I love this one. This is called fluffball, and you can see all the little hairs, on it. They like drier conditions because they do such an efficient job of absorbing all of their all of the humidity out of the air. They're the mesic ones, and mesic ones can take drier conditions. Okay, now the growing conditions, they need to have bright light, but not necessarily direct sunlight. A southeast-west window is perfect, and they can also be grown under fluorescent tubes, and also the new LED lights are very good for the air plants. Watering, you water 2 to 4 times a week with a spray bottle mister, or if your environment is really dry, you want to spray the plants daily. You know, and again, you want to spray so that the water saturates the surface of the leaves, or it's really good to soak the air plants in water once a week for 30 to 60 minutes, but you must always drain them very, very, very thoroughly. You know, you can see these rosette forms, and then there's actually holes and spaces where water can collect at the base. If you don't tip it over after you soaked it in water and let all that drain out, then you can get fungal damage and rotting in the base of the plant. So always shake them out after you've soaked them in water. Now, temperatures, some varieties can withstand near freezing temperatures, but most of the ones that you'll buy for the home thrive in temperatures between 70 and 85 degrees. High humidity is really a bonus if you can increase the humidity. The way you support them to structures is you just glue them with hot glue guns to cork, coral stone, or driftwood. And there are only a few varieties that will adapt to soil, and I'll point those out to you. Fertilizers, you want to use everything that has low copper, a liquid fertilizer, and you want to mix it diluted at a quarter strength of what the manufacturer suggests. And you do that monthly. You put it in a spray bottle and mist it on a lot of the plants, and that does the trick. That equals absorbing and getting nutrient from dust in the air. Okay, now the preferred environments for air plants, they love well-ventilated, semi-shaded spots. In their natural habitat, they usually attach themselves to trees in the upper canopy. So they like the soft light, like light that gets filtered through leaves, sort of like this photo. You can see, the light is, the full sunlight where those trees are absorbing that sunlight, but underneath is where the air plants would live. And so it's like gentle sunlight. Avoid direct sunlight, especially in the summertime, when the temperatures are higher. That would be very detrimental to the air plants. So again, the preferred environment, this is some more details on that. They love well-ventilated areas and also maybe semi-shaded. So you want to position them so they catch a natural breeze, and ventilation is as important as sunlight is to these plants. They do not like water to sit on the leaves or collect on the leaves. And ideally, if you spray and that you have drops that are collected, you want that water to be able to evaporate within a half a day after watering or spraying. And again, I'm going to repeat, fresh air is extremely important. So open a window or place them outside when the temperatures are great outside. They really respond to that. I love and sharing this information with you. They do love water. They can cope with dry conditions, but they're water-loving plants, so like tropical rainforests. So spray once a day until they're dripping wet. Okay, in spring and fall, dusk to nighttime is the best time to water or spray the plants, because it mimics the nighttime dew or the night fog. When the light goes down, the dew points go up, and that's when the dew settles on the plants. They have pores in their leaves that open up at night, and that's how they absorb the water even better. Avoid letting them get cold when they're wet. That drops the temperature much more quickly on them. So now the best way how to water and when. There are watering methods. There's several watering methods. There's misting with a spray bottle. There's dunking in water and dripping them off, or letting them soak. And there are advantages and disadvantages. So I want to go over those. When you mist, it's easy. It's every day. You don't have to think about it. You just get up and have it, like drinking your coffee, and you mist your air plants. But it will not rehydrate plants that have gotten really thirsty. If they've gotten excessively dry, you really need to soak them in water. And I always like to recommend that you plan to do that at least once a month anyway. And the other disadvantage of spraying with the mist is you can get water. It could land on your furniture and damage your furniture. Now dunking is really easy and really quick, but it will not really rehydrate really dry, thirsty plants. And the other disadvantage is it requires you removing it from a display. So like that first slide where we had all of those plants attached to the driftwood, you would have to take that to a sink, spray water over it, or have it sit in a sink in order to, if you want to dunk it, or if you want to soak it. And what that involves is submerging the plant one time a week for up 1 to 2 hours. So they really soak up. And some of the plants this is the Harrisii. It's named after Mr. Harris. These really benefit from soaking once a week. So that, you can do a combination of all of them actually. Now, this just shows you an example, and caring for air plants. I'm going to be talking about the bloom cycle, the growth cycle, sun exposure, the light problems, watering, misting, dunking, overwatering, and underwatering. And then this just shows the detail about how, don't you love this beautiful wooden bowl? And you just soak them in a bowl or a sink. And then the bottom photo shows you how you really want to turn it upside down to shake out any water that could collect down in the base of the crown. Okay, let's keep moving on. Okay, the know-how: soaking the plants, temperature, fertilizer, and maintaining. I just wanted this bottle. I'm also going to talk about removing dead leaves and removing the baby plants from the parent plants, and then the other propagation forms. Okay, now really the only pests and diseases that you have to worry about are mealybugs, and the mealybugs are up on your upper right-hand corner, and then the fungal problems that can cause the rotting. And you can see how the base of the one on the left, there was too much water always left in it. It was the same kind of plant right here, too much water left in it, and it rotted. The fungal organisms rotted it. And then you can see in the middle picture, this almost looks like a botrytis. They also call it gray mold, and if you leave it moist like that, that's what happens. Okay, now there are 500 different species of flowering perennial plants in the Tillandsia genus, and again, it is part of the Bromeliad family. So the term air plant or sky plant is what is used most, is the common names. And what's wonderful is these plants require no soil for their roots. And when you look at them closely, sometimes you can actually see some of the roots, at the base of the plant. So those are the roots right there, but they require no soil. They usually just anchor on. They extract the moisture again from the air. Okay, in their natural element, you'll actually see them anchored to the bark. I've got a great picture of one later showing how they're anchored to the bark. Spanish moss is also one of the most famous Tillandsias, and all of these plants are native to warm, arid regions where they do best in bright, filtered light, and again, they're perennial in sufficiently warm climates. They're normally grown, indoors, as house plants, and they become so popular, especially in the last 15 years. Once rare, they're so trendy. They're so trendy right now. And you'll see usually in a variety of garden applications, like mounted on the bark, right here in the middle picture. And then a lot of this is one of the fluff balls over in that hanging planter. And there are a lot of really diminutive ones, so they need to be viewed up close. So I love how this one, look at the flowers just starting on this one, and you can see, isn't that incredible? Okay, we're moving on. Now, again, most common display is mounted on bark, and actually any bark will do, like bark, driftwood. Okay, and the place to find them, they're native to Central and South America. And I always joke that you see them laying around on shelves in the greenhouse or wired to a display basket. The best mounting technique is with a low heat hot glue gun. And you just put the glue on the back side of this and stick it right where you want to stick and let it dry. It's so amazing. People are always stunned. They're like, wait a minute, why can that work? And this is a great example. All of these have been applied to that driftwood with a glue gun. and then the works, all the hardware, if it was wired or glued on, is hidden with the reindeer moss and the different colors of reindeer mosses and lichens. So you can see the air plant, you can see the echeveria, the hen and chicks, and then the earth star is the pink, green, and white plant that's also a type of bromeliad at the base of this. Another example. And then now the care, again, spray water with a spray bottle, or remove, from the display and dunk it once a week. Again, nutrients, a quarter strength liquid fertilizer. Now you want to surround them with moss to increase the humidity. And this is a cute example of 3 different varieties just in these adorable glass containers with reindeer moss that has been soaked in water and wrung out, the moss is running out, and just sitting in the bottom of that. And that increases the ambient humidity around the plant. These are all the different types of mosses, and you can see the Spanish moss down in the front, and the different types of mosses that you can use to help and work as sponges to hold moisture and just increase the humidity around the plant. This is the reindeer moss here. Now, the main types of air plants are divided between the silver and green leaf colors. And so like this is one of the green leaf colored ones. This is the, with the pot type. Let me show you up close with that. And it's right here. And I got to get the tag out of the way. Okay. And then this is more of the silver leaf type right here. Okay. Now the silver leaves, the trichomes cover the entire leaf surface. They appear white or silver, like this, white or silver. They have excellent capacity for moisture absorption. So these are ones you have to be very careful that you don't let them stay too wet too long, or you don't water them too frequently. They're very resistant to dryness, and they have a very slow metabolism, so they're slow to grow. They're really slow to grow. And again, they're more tolerant of lower light levels and shadier situations. Again, the weak point on these, on the silver leaf ones, is too much water or leaving too much water in the base of the plant. And they prefer excellent ventilation. Now the green leaf types, the trichomes, are not immediately obvious, so they appear green. They thrive on plenty of water because they're becoming native in rainforests. They're fast and vigorous growers because the green is so obvious, that the chlorophyll is so evident. They're less tolerant of shade. They need bright light locations, but not direct sunlight, or the leaves will burn. They're okay where the air remains still. So they would be the preferred ones if you're going to set up a terrarium, much better than the silver leafed ones. And now, even if the outer leaves appear silver, and I was going to show you one of those, they still are considered in the green group, Okay, here we go. So they're also classified by form. So you have the pot shape up in your upper right-hand corner, and that's like this. This is one of the pot-shaped ones right here. And see how the base is round and bulbous, and so this is a bulbosa, and this is called pot-shaped. Then there are the grassy types, and that's the middle one. This is the grassy one right here. They're much narrower and much longer, and you can see it has that grassy. I love this one. This one is Tillandsia, so it's like juncus, like a rush is this, that's like. And then there are the tank types. Now the tank types are really more, they're more like their bromeliad cousins, where they can actually hold some water, down in the base, and then absorb it that way. The next, on these slides, these are 25 great Tillandsia species and cultivars that you're going to maybe fall in love with. Okay, so although there are many species of Tillandsia, many do not have common names. Instead, they're just simply lumped together as air plants or sky plants. They may be sold simply by their species names. So I'll point that out as we're going through it. So the sky plant, or the classic Tillandsia ionantha, and you can see it is one of the most popular, and there's dozens of cultivars available, but the species version is really popular, and they're so hard to kill. They're attractive. They have silver, silver green leaves. This is the one I showed you earlier that was coloring up. This is the rubra one. And the leaves turn shades of red and pink just before the plant, starts to bloom. And the blooms you can see down on the lower left-hand side. They have beautiful purple flowers with the yellow stigma, coming out. These are native to Mexico, Central and South America, and they only get to be about 6 inches, about 6 inches long. Okay, and here's some close-ups of ones before they're going to bloom and one that was just getting ready to bloom, going to bloom with. And you can see this. You can see how this was just starting to color up, and then compare it to the photo down on the lower left-hand side and how red they get. Okay, this is Druid, is a cultivar. It's one of the cultivars of the ionanthas, and this one actually turns peachy pink with white flowers. And so and unlike the red leaves, this has that pink tone. It's usually quite small, but it's really eye-catching, and quite a collector's item, nonetheless. It only gets 2 to 4 inches, only 2 to 4 inches tall, likes bright indirect light. Maxima, or this is Huamelula, say that fast, or Maxima. This is one that really makes an impact, and it can handle stronger light. This is one of the green leaf types that can handle stronger light, but you can see at the base, the silver on the basal. So you think, is this a silver or green? This is more of a green one. And what's great is these leaves turn coral red before the plant blooms again with that brilliant purple flower. It's considered a larger collector's item. It gets 5 to 6 inches in height, and then 3 to 4 inches wide. And also full sun to part shade. This one does really well under fluorescent light. Okay, I love the Fuego. And another ionantha. It's tiny, but oh my gosh, look at the color on it. You can see the spikes turn red before that purple flower, came up on it. And they're not very big at all, only a 1/2 inch to 3 inches maximum. So fun for, collectors. And again, bright indirect light. I love this one. This is my all-time favorite. Oh, just when I said that, I realized I love the pink quills too. And what's fun about the pink quills, the quill is pink, and everyone thinks that's the flower, but the flowers are actually these beautiful purple flowers that come out in between the quills. The quill can last for as much as 9 months, even longer. The flowers are very short-lived, and but you still get this beautiful contrast, the green with the pink. And these are relatively large. I don't have a sample of that with me, but relatively large. They can actually go 8 inches to 12 inches, tall. So beautiful plant. I like putting these in a vase so that the green foliage is coming out and that pink spike is, the quill is right at the top. Okay, this little mud pupper, this is one of the aeranthos types, Tillandsia, and it's bergeri is the species name. It's really one of the most popular. Instead of having a quill, it's more of a spike. It's a spike that is hot pink with those purple flowers, purple blue flowers, coming out. And this one really loves bright, bright indirect light, and good fluorescent lights. If you're going to rely on artificial lights, you want to make sure that they're on for 16 hours during the day. Now, when air plants are in flower like this, you want to water it lightly by rinsing them under running water rather than submerging them, because if you submerge them, it's going to ruin the flowers. So just run it in water. This one is fun because this goes 6 to 10 inches big. Excuse me, bright indirect light. Let me get a drink of water. Keep moving on here. Kolbii is beautiful. These appear to grow sideways, and you can see them arching sideways. So they look like a snake that's curling off in one direction. These are only 2 to 3 inches long. And then they have that soft gray fuzz on the leaves. And then they turn that pink blush before they go into flower with the purple flower that comes out. And again, only 2 to 5 inches bright and red. Now this is Harrisii, and this is a gorgeous plant. This is Harrisii right here. And it actually, oh no, this is cotton candy. Where's Harrisii? Ah, I had it. Oh, it dropped off the table. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, this is it right here. When you hold it up, you can see it's wider. It's wider than tall. The leaves curl out. They curl out, and it's soft when you touch it. It's really soft. So this, and you can see how the bloom is coming up in the upper picture, and with this, I mean, just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. This is a close up also, you know, of that. Okay, now the Brachycaulos, they fan outward from the central growing point, and it turns that bright red before again it has those purple flowers. It goes about 3 inches tall and about 4 inches wide. This is when you have to be very careful that you don't let the water collect in that base. So turn it upside down, bright indirect light. This one's native to Central America and also Venezuela and Mexico. Okay, I love bulbosa. Bulbosa, this is the bulbous air plant. Bulbosa, it's smooth. You almost can't feel the trichomes on it. They're really more along the base, and this is just so much fun with these kind of spidery, leaves that come out over the top. And they look like tentacles. And it's not like spider. It's more like an octopus, and they look like a sea monster. So they will change color before it goes into bloom. And you can see on this one, you can see it's just starting to change. See the top. So it's going to be going into bloom pretty shortly. Okay. What's interesting out in nature, they have a symbiotic relationship with ants. The ants will chew a hole through the bottom of the base and then live inside and come in and out and in and out and in and out. And then their excrement is what helps feed the plant when that breaks down. So cool what Mother Nature has done. 4 to 7 inches. This is one of the larger ones. So you can see, it's 4 inches this way and 7 inches that way. Okay. Bright indirect light or even part shade. And here's a close up. And I love when these go, look at the color on it when it goes into flower. Okay. This is a different cultivar, also in the bulbosa group. This is Cacticola. And the Cacticolas, sometimes they're hard to find in cultivation because they don't produce many offsets. And but you have this gorgeous, and I believe this is a Cacticola right here. Yeah, this is a Cacticola, and yeah, here we go. And you can see how the spike is coming up and is gonna climb over, and it's just beautiful with the pink and the silver. 3 to 9 inches, a wonderful collector's item. This is Capita peach or capitata peach, and it when it goes into bloom, the silver green rosette at the center, and you can see what it looks like when it's not going to bloom down below, and then when it's in bloom, the top of it turns that peachy pink color, and then the purple flowers emerge out of it. And again, this is 5 to 8 inches long and tall, and 3 to 5. 3 to 5 is the most common, or 2 to 3 inches what you find when you're buying them, but they'll get that big. Okay. This is Circinata, and these have thick silvery green leaves, and it's a very substantial appearance. I don't have any of those with me. Oh yeah, this is one right here. No, this is Califano. But what's great about this, these are about 6 to 8 inches long. They can take brighter light, but they're longer, only about 1 inch across at the base. And this is Circinata, Tillandsias Circinata. Cotton candy. This is a hybrid cross between Tillandsia stricta and Tillandsia recurvifolia. And this I have cotton candy right here, and this is cotton candy right here before it goes into bloom. And you can see, I'm going to put it up close and I'll show you later, but you can see how the tips of those branches are starting to color up, indicating it's going to go into bloom shortly. And when the flower spike comes out, the pink bracts look like they're puffed up or inflated. So that's where cotton candy comes from, because it looks like a lump of cotton candy that's been spun on the tube when you eat it. Most of these are 5 to 6 inches across. You can see how this one is 4 inches. So it's just a baby getting started. And again, bright indirect sunlight. Oh, I love Liliacea. And I think this is a Liliacea, right? No. Okay, so if miniature plants fascinate you, this is the one that you want to go with. And this has just a beautiful, those tiny yellow flowers at the end. And they look, they're really fun, either, perched on wood like this, where it was glued on the wood, or inside, inside a terrarium where they can soak up the extra moisture. Very small, only 1 to 3 inches. And again, bright indirect light. This is a close-up of a larger group of them with all those little tiny flowers. Really, I love that bright yellow. Okay, this is Didstica, and it's a very large for the Tillandsia. It can grow up to 1 foot long, and the base of the plant forms that airy spray of those gray-green leaves kind of going all the way out. And they also have a really nice cultivar called burnt fingers that when the flowers come out, they look like, you can see that color, that red, or actually a burnt finger look that they have. So these are one of the larger collectors with up to 6 to 12 inches. Okay, again, also bright indirect light. Now, I love this one. This is the Dariana, and with this bright orange inflorescence. Everyone thinks the flower is orange, but look down at the lower photo, and you can see that the flowers are white, white with kind of a purple base. And so, but the bract stays on for many months. The flowers are very short-lived. But this one, it can also be grown in a pot. This one has more substantial roots, and you can actually put this, and it looks closer to the Bromeliad family than I think any of the other air plants that we have out there. It can go from 3 to 12 inches, and this one loves lots and lots of humidity. So, so again, if you have it in a pot, it can grow pretty large, 12 to 18 inches, and you can water the center, so like a bromeliad, and then let it drain through. And then only water the root area when it feels dry to the touch. Okay. Now this is the giant air plant, and so I got the photo and got permission to use the photo with a person in it, so you can see how big it is. And this one, unlike a lot of the other Tillandsias, this one has a lot of common names. So it's the quill leaf plant, the giant air plant, the cardinal air plant, because the leaves, the flowers are kind of a reddish, and it's really the most commonly grown, but there are hundreds and hundreds of variations on this. And the species has the red and green inflorescence, and it stays attractive for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it will stay on the plant for a good three months. And again, native to Mexico, Central America, and West Indies, and South America. Okay, bright indirect light. Okay, here we go. Oh, flavolata. Oh, this is so much fun. Instead of having a rosette of slender leaves, this flavolata grows tall. It can get 6 to 12 inches tall, and again, more like its bromeliad cousins, where it almost has a tank formation where water could be holding those leaves. But again, don't let them soak in water, and make sure you drain them out each week. And again, this can take brighter light than most of the other ones. Oh, I love this. This is Argentia. It was formerly called Tillandsia Argentia, but they renamed it. So it's Fuchsii variety gracilis, and it has a bulbous base. And I thought I picked one of those up. It has a bulbous base, and like this. So more information and more grassy type leaves that come out of the top. And it's really a kind of a delicate plant. It's only going to get to be about 5 inches to 6 inches tall, and only about 1 to 2 inches wide. When it does bloom, it's a real flashy orange red inflorescence. It's very tiny. It just comes out, and you have multiple ones on each of the plants. Again, bright indirect light. The funkiana. These actually bend and curl into odd shapes. You can see the different photos, how they're kind of arching and curling. And look how the leaves turn that orangey red before the same orange red flower comes out with the yellow stamen. It's really small. It's only about 2 inches, and it's great for a terrarium, or simply just as a desktop novelty. You can put it in a saucer and just water it and put it back and just kind of look at it as an accessory to your desk. Okay, here we go. Next one. This is Gardneri, and I love showing you this one because it looks like a small yucca. And I found this photo of them growing in trees, and you can see how they're actually attached with the root system to the branches of this tree. And this is probably in South America. It's Trinidad. Oh, no. These are in South America, Colombia, Brazil, Venezuela, but also in Africa, so Trinidad and Tobago. And this is an airpoint. This is a great one if you can't provide really bright light. It can tolerate lower light levels. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and then ball moss. This is Tillandsia recurvata, and I have one right here. Look at this, and it's on a hanger. So it's got on a hook and a hanger, and then look at that. Isn't this great? This is a cluster of a whole bunch of little recurvata plants. So that's why they call it ball moss, and it's a mass of all these slender gray arching leaves, and they have these little tiny lavender flowering spikes. You can see the picture right there on the left hand side. This is often naturalized in Southeast United States, and it has this really peculiar habit of allowing seeds to germinate while they're still in the seed pod. So that's what gives them that cluster and that full ball look. They just keep filling out and filling out and filling out. And again, small, 2 inches to 6 inches, large, and bright indirect light. Pink bronze. Oh, this is so much fun. It has kind of the typical pineapple type rosette of leaves, at the base, and then you'll get that pinky bronze coloring at the tips of the leaves before it goes into the flowering. This is really popular as a single specimen, and it's used in those small teardrop terrariums because it will stay 6 inches, and again bright indirect light. White star is so lovely. It's a genetic cross between Tillandsia and ixinoides or ixioides. That's a hard one to say. Ixioides and Tillandsia recurvifolia. It's much larger than the other parents. So then you've got that hybrid cross with that hybrid vigor, and the bracts are that beautiful rosy pink color with yellow flowers that come out of it, and with those silvery gray leaves, and they tend to curve and curl all over the place. So this is my favorite. I love the white star. Okay, and then this is Tillandsia. It's called Tectorium, or they also call it fuzzball, and this is it right here. And look how fuzzy it is. Now, everyone would think, I always thought that this one needed lots and lots of humidity. No, if you give it too much humidity and spray it too often, it will rot it. So this one can stay dry. The reason it's so fuzzy is it keeps the humidity around the leaves because it's got all those little hairs that hold the humidity around it. But this one is so much fun. And I love this one. This one, we have these globes that are open and you can just set it in the globe and hang it. And this is, look at the purple flower on it. You have to look on it close at the top. And you can see it gets a spike with all those little tiny purple flowers. And this responds well. You can see the gravel on the bottom of that globe and then a few pieces of reindeer moss that are kept moist. And that just keeps the humidity high around it, just enough. This is Xerographica, and it is unusually wide. It's got this flat gray-green leaves that curl around like ribbons. You know, they're much thinner. New leaves sprout from the center of the rosette. And then I love this hanging basket effect where it's just hanging and growing down. Most of the ones you'll see, this one up in the right is a really mature specimen. Most that you find are open that looks like a flat, almost like a platter. And, you know, and it is, you know, it's when if it gets too dry, that's what causes the leaves to curve attractively. So you know, so you let it get just the point of being way too dry, and then bring it back. And you can see the one down below is nicely watered, so it doesn't have as much of the curl, you know, on it. But these get pretty big. These can go, you know, 6 to 15 inches. This is 12 inches across, so 15 inches wide. This a lot of people love these like on a platter in the middle of the table as a centerpiece. Okay, and here we go. And let me check how I'm doing it. Oh, here's a close-up of them, and you can see them mounted on the driftwood and then just being held in the hand. These are more of the upright foliage type ones. This is, you know, this was the Gensiae, and you know, and I love these just because of that wonderful vertical look. And you can see the Gensiae in the middle, and then the bulbosa on the left-hand side, and then this is the one on the right-hand side is the Harrisii. And what a great display. Now I wanted to show you its cousin. This is the Spanish moss, and this is how it looks down in Houston and down in New Orleans, down in Mobile, Alabama. It just grows in the trees like this, and so I had to show you its cousin. My friend Herman Fagors jokes about, you know, you don't have to do anything. It lives on love alone. You know, mother's love alone, and then propagation. Now, what happens is Tillandsias will reproduce by putting out offsets or pups and from the base of the mother. So this diagram shows how a pup is coming out of the, and so when the pups are half the size of the mother, that's when they can be divided and mounted, you know, on their own. They can be grown from seed, but it's not as popular. And then I'm just going to show you the growth cycle. So the time of purchase, they grow very slowly. So it usually takes 1 to 2 years to increase the size before they go into flowering. Then you can see the flowering over here on the upper left hand. And then when the flower buds form, then also 1 to 2 pups also form. And you can see them at the base, and you can see the arrows showing the pump. And then as the pup grows and grows and grows. And when it gets to be 1/3 of the size of the mother, that's when you just kind of break them off. And, you know, or you can also cut them with a sharp knife, good pruning shears. And then unfortunately, the parent withers away. And, you know, after transferring all its nutrients, that's the bad news. That's the bad news. Okay. These are just fun ways that I have seen them used. This is one of the bulbosas that was, hot glued up inside a nautilus. And then we've all seen, these are the little sea and the sea stars that, and are, the air plants were just hot glued up underneath the base of them. I love this one. I had to show this one off in full flower. And then another one of the recurvatas in a shell. So, and then I love how, you know, they did arrangements with them. And what's wonderful about this is the water will drain through and never collect. And you have the reindeer moss hiding the, hiding the. Now I'm going to say thank you, and I'm ending a little bit early. Now, I've added a slide at the very end because I had to show you I did a lot of work from home on this one, and I had to show you that I had an editor, and this was last night as I was finishing things. Okay, this is my little cat Carlito, and see how he got tired of Jimmy Kimmel, and he was sitting up there watching me work and making sure I wasn't making any typos. So I'm gonna backspace so you're not looking at this all the time. Let's go. I think, oh, I don't want that one. I'm gonna go this way. Oh, that's not it. Okay, here we go. Oh. Now I'm gonna stop sharing the screen, and here we go, and answer the questions that have come up. Here I am back in full screen here, and let me bring this over. This is the Q&A, and then I also have the chat box. So I'm going to bring the Q&A over. Okay. Okay, here we go. Is tap or Chicago water okay? It is fine. It is absolutely fine. Our Chicago water is really nice and healthy, and it works wonderfully. Okay, if you have well water, you want to be a little careful because it has a lot of minerals in it. So if you're in an area where you're using well water, then you might want to use like bottled water or reverse osmosis water. So you don't have the minerals that can build up. Okay, do you soak the plant when it has flowers on it? I mentioned that later on in the presentation. If it has water, if it has flowers, you don't want to soak it. You just want to dunk the main plant in water, not getting the flowers wet. That's a great question, and I covered that. You may have gotten that answer when we talked about that. Because do we have to remove the flowers after they die on the plant? The bracts will stay on, and usually what happens is the pups form, and the pups will take over. You can trim the bract off, and then the bad news is when you take the pups off, the adult dies, the mom dies. Let's go over to the chat, and I'll move this one over, and then here we go. Let me move the chat over a little better. Oops, hold on. Oh, come on, move over. Hold on. Oh, just when I think I have it, I'm doing it well. Oh, come on. Okay, well, there was a question from Karen. Why is this not working? This is the only time I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so sorry. Is this posted? Okay, there we go. I moved it earlier. Okay, let me just see. All right, now, very intriguing. Thank you for that. In the South, do homeowners attach Spanish moss to trees to get them started? That's a great question. Yes, you can do that. You can take a sample from another place and then just hang it over a branch, and then that gets it started. And then you'll be amazed how it kind of grows along. And yes, a lot of people will do that. A lot of people will do that. Now let me just bring this a little bigger. I'll see if I can, and I'm going to scroll down on the other question page. And, oh, okay, here we go. There's supposed to be a scroll bar. Okay, and I have a question from Mindy. Let me see if this is going to do it. Okay, open, answer. Let's go back to there's 7, and I can't scroll down. I'm so sorry, everybody. Let's try this. Just when I thought I had lessons, okay, I'll figure this out. Let's go over to here to the chat. Oh, here it is. This question is, does the adult die after flowering or just if the pups are cut off? It actually dies, after the pups are produced. And on the regular bromeliads, well, people think it dies after it flowers, but it's because the pups are being produced in the base. So that's what, as the pups are growing, they take all the nutrition away from the mother and it gets depleted. Okay, thank you for the compliment. It says, can I use moss that I have growing in my yard indoors? Sure you can, absolutely. That moss is just fine. That moss is just fine. Okay, and it says, do we have to remove the flowers? Oh, I answered that one already. And so that was answer live. All right. Okay. Oh, here we go. Now I'm seeing what I'm doing. Okay, what if you don't cut the pups off? Will the parents still die? This is a question from Mindy. Yes, if you don't cut them off, the pups will just grow and grow and grow and grow, and the mother just dies away. You know, just dies away. So that one was good. Okay, and okay, can you soak the plant? I did that one. Okay, I did this one. Now I'm learning how to do this better, everybody. Okay, all right, and answer live, that's good. Done. All right. Okay. I'm getting better, everybody. Thanks for your patience. All right, so, okay. Now this is from Rhonda Holcomb. Does the adult die? Oh, I just did that. I just did that one. So we can answer live and done. Okay, to get them to flower, do you need 16-hour days, as you mentioned, or a combination of long days and higher light? Joanne, that's a great, great question. The different ones bloom at, under different mechanisms. And a lot of these are actually short day blooming. They, as the days are getting short, that's what triggers the bloom. And then that's why they're in bloom right now. So they're short days. When they're exposed to short days, longer nights, that's what triggers the bloom. And so what's interesting is they bloom here in the winter, whereas down in the South Americas, it would be summer where the days are shorter. So that was a great, great question. That was an excellent question. Okay, so now, do you currently have many varieties in the store? Yes, we do, Melissa. We have lots of varieties in the store. We just got a huge shipment yesterday. So I wish I could show the camera down here. All these that I was showing on the table are in the store right now. Great, great question. Great, great question. Okay, so I answered that one and done. Marion Wolf, thank you for a very interesting and encouraging presentation. Thank you so much. Also, I thank you for sending out the complete presentation on orchids. Oh, I'm so embarrassed over that one. But thank you for the comments. Okay, I love your editor. Isn't Carlito adorable? Okay, you're lucky to have such a supportive editor. Amen, amen. Okay, now let me see if I've got any more of the panelist questions. Thanks for a great talk. Beautiful plants. Thank you. And okay, what is the best variety for a bright office window? Oh, well, I think the best variety would be a Harrisii, one of these. This would be fabulous in a bright office window. You would love this one. Put it in a nice dish or a nice basket. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, and let me just keep going. I think if I do this one, okay, let's do this one. Oh, I just realized I can copy these. All right, this is the chat. And let me see if I can bring this down. No, oh, pop out. Okay, I may be doing something bad. Here we go. I think I've answered all your questions. If I didn't get to your question, email me at jenniferb@chaletnursery.com and I'll answer them this afternoon. Oh, here's a new message. Oh, I'm getting used to this, you guys. Okay, so here's a new message, and it just is a wonderful thank you, and it said a great job. Thank you, everybody. I love that I'm getting this down. I'm learning. You learn every day a new thing. And to confess, last week our computer wasn't plugged in, and so the power went off. Is that embarrassing to admit out loud? So thank you, everybody. Keep staying tuned, and then come in. We're redoing the whole store, and we're changing our shelving units, so it's just going to look like a whole new place when you come in. And excuse our construction while it's going on, but come in and today and tomorrow. This is the 29th still, isn't it? This is the 29th. I should know this. This is 29th. So today and tomorrow, we're still having the wonderful promotion that if you spend $75 on plants, pots, potting soil, seeds, any of the seed starting things, you get, if you spend over $75, you get $25 discount at the cashier. It is the coolest, most fun promotion that I think we've done. So be sure and come in on this beautiful day with the sun and come in and see us all, see us all. Thank you all. All right, we're right at 1 o'clock and nothing went wrong. Woohoo! Let's all celebrate. All right, thanks everybody. Bye-bye.